I eat callaloo, ackee, sweet potato, yam, banana, and tomato, cabbage, spinach, avocado, chocho, butter, bean, and cocoa, courgette, millet, plantain, rice and peas and pumpkin, mango, dates and guava, chickpeas and cassava.
Germany, Almonia, Saxa, Tyskland, Deutschland. It has many names, and it has a past that people remember, a dark past. Both the First and the Second World War terrorized the world into devastation, had the biggest tyrant of all times. Ask them. And after some time they lost the war, and their country was split into 3 sections. One of the parts was owned by the Soviet Union, and even Berlin was split in 2. The Soviets part of it, which had really strict rules for the citizens, there is where the punk culture started, a revelation, someone that wanted to change, and after some time they were allowed to break the border. This movement became a movement that is still alive today, of freedom fighters all around Germany. A people that fights together against injustice. They are the biggest civil rights activists. They are the biggest ones. So now the last few days it has seemed that Germany is leading in veganism. They now have more vegan restaurants than any other country in Europe. So I went on the boat with my school. We were going to Germany. I needed to figure out what this is all about. So I packed my stuff, took with me the camera, and I went to the airport and I traveled over to Berlin. I'm in Germany again, which is quite interesting. I've never been to the capital before. There's some time with train to travel, and I have no idea where my teacher went. But we had extremely good time on our hands, so I don't think that will be a big problem, really. Almost tricked there. It said Milch and Honung, or milk and honey, but it's synthetic as far as I can see. Basically, I've put in everything I have into the hostel, and I think there is a vegan restaurant in the same block here. It looked like some type of Chinese by the name. I'm not quite sure. It's supposed to be open now. Yeah, there it is. Yay! Vegan loving. But still, it seems like it's closed now. So yeah, it's not exactly what I was hoping for. Back and forth and been unable to find this place. I think this is Charlie's Vegan Food and Cafe. So I've ordered some hot chocolate and some spaghetti bolognese, and it's so fantastic how they keep this track of these Chinese porcelain. It's very strange here in Berlin when it comes to like finding vegan restaurants and such. It's like I can just walk down the street and I find a lot of vegetarian places. Almost every place here can make something vegan. There's a lot of vegan friendly places, and if I want to have something vegan, I can just walk a couple of blocks and there's a place there. There is one in like the same block as my hostel. So there's like everywhere. These types of protests is something that you will find all over Europe. all over the world now, where people speaking up. The thing in Germany is that it's even more crowded than you will find other places. You find a lot more people, a lot more banners, a lot more activists. It's after I've been in Germany for some time and I talk to people, that people are not simply vegan, they're activists. It seems like they have a huge movement over there, which is unlike anything that we have at home. They protest things, yes, but that's not like the only thing they do. There is way more going on there than I expected, especially when it comes to the ALF. They tend to destroy properties of people who do hunting. They also stand up against hunting. Other places it's mainly factory farming, but here they stand up against all type of injustice on every corner. Although seemingly just 2% of the problem, they tend to block hunters directly. Tearing down everything. And it's common to document what happens inside of fur farms all over Europe. People have done that. What is different here, however, is that they break in, open the cages, take the minks out, they bring it into a bag. Next step is basically to take away the profit, removing the fur coats, and after they remove them, they put the mink free. Just next to the hostel they have a place where they serve a vegan breakfast, but they have closed down at the moment for some reason. Tried to read there, but my German isn't that good to know why, but I think it's something like they try to renew things or something like that. I didn't really think I had so much time on my hands, so I didn't go to the closest bakery. Got a pie, and I also got like 2 different croissants, and like both vegan and just any type of bakery. Well, I didn't quite feel like a real breakfast. I'm not quite used to eating cake for breakfast as they are in certain parts of Europe. So I'm gonna think of something else. And the music production teacher told me about this burger place over there. It's said that they only have vegetarian burgers. This looks like it says 100% veg. I'm thinking vegan, but most definitely they would have at least one vegan burger. I needed to get it in the bottom of this. So when my school was going to the Stasi museum, I needed to know if that had anything to do with it. So we went over there to see if that's really why they are so huge activists today. We're going to the Stasi museum, which is basically about the eastern part of Germany or Berlin. And I have everything was at that time and everything.
Sorry about that, but I'm way older than you are. So, okay, welcome. 60 centimeters deep and 150 high. So you can imagine you're not going to have a very nice time in that. So usually the principle is, first of all, you see there's traces of a sticker on that. I told you the prisons for questioning don't exist on the maps of the cities where they are built. It tells you that don't put any children, weak people, etc., etc.
What did you call it?
Paternoster, because of the prayer, because it goes on and on and on and on and on and never stops. On the radio, it's absolutely forbidden, and that will be really making furniture in the prisons. Yes, IKEA said, oh, we didn't know it's outsourcing, we had no idea. It came out because etc. His secretary worked for him for 30 years, so we might consider that she, at some stage...
Yes, I was allowed to go in and film. And after that, going around and see that this was really psychological warfare within their own people, and they had approximately 1 in 4 people working for the Stasi. Now, there was no doubt why Germany is the way today, as I've been told. The people in East Germany was treated like nothing, or they were over surveillance all the time. They didn't have freedom of speech, they couldn't say what they want. And this has probably reflected upon everything after some years. They were allowed to see the papers about what everyone has done to them, that they weren't really mentally ill, after all. And it was actually 100% vegan, so surprised that there are like 2 vegan places just right outside of the hostel. I have bought a vegan cheeseburger menu and it looks freaking delicious. That place was vegetarian, but 90% of what I had was vegan. So it's like, so all these burgers that was like vegan certified, and I had 2 vegetarian burgers, which is a little bit of the opposite of what I see in other vegetarian places. Now this evening we decided to look at the border between the east and the west. Quite interesting. Well, apparently it's not closed off anymore, but it's open for everyone to go through. And this looks beautiful. Yay. Also had to look at the memorial grounds, which looks like a graveyard, to be honest. But it's very interesting to look at, really. With any ordinary falafel place, I could just buy this for supper. Today is the day where we will play a theater in Berlin. That's basically the reason why we came here. There is a project week we had before going here. We had 2 weeks to prepare this. Brought everything with us. They said we had to bring food. So I checked up the map for a vegan convenience store, and there was one so-called 20 minutes away. But for me this is less than 20 minutes.
When I got there I realized this was the place that Patrick Baboumian was interviewed. And if you don't know who Patrick Baboumian is, he's basically Germany's strongest man. He bears 2 world records: log lift and yoke lift, which is the heaviest that man has ever carried.
Myself, being led to this lifestyle by ethical reasons, I was expecting a decrease in my performances actually, and I was completely surprised by the fact that the exact opposite happened.
Just so to see, this is obviously, but here they are like automatically many other things. This is truly a full convenience store full of different alternatives. Such as here is like the non-dairy section, as I would like to call it. It's full, absolutely packed. For like some frozen alternatives as well. And also a full-on beverage section and some chocolate and so on. At Reineken I bought 2 Alibaba wraps, and I got this chocolate which is their own making. And I also bought some bananas. I will go back and buy more in a few days or maybe tomorrow. Right now I'm having a bit of a problem with not having enough space, and yeah, I just need it for the theater. And I think there's a restaurant around the corner here. Back at a hostel, and the place wasn't open, and getting breakfast there is very difficult, so it's basically pie and croissant today. And also I took with me a cup of green tea as well. Now I found this other place here. It's called the Stillplatz. Yeah. I needed some more food. For breakfast, having only cake is not giving me the right energy, so I'll see if I can find some breakfast there. This place had 2 vegan dishes for breakfast, and this looked very good. I must say, that place, the cafe, it's like the best breakfast I've ever had.
It was so amazing. I know the place is only vegetarian, but these people they know what they're doing. So they had 2 vegan dishes on their menu, and I haven't tried the other one. I may actually come back tomorrow and check what the other menu is, because this was freaking delicious. It's very easy to find if you're in this district. They have this huge church here next to it, so it should be easy to find. So it's just across the street basically. Now I just came home to the hostel for having been out for a very long day. What we've done now is to have a theatre. We took Roald Dahl's play called Danny, Champion of the World, which is a quite good one. I don't really agree with the pheasant hunting type of theme, but yeah, it was fun. And all the children there were such brilliant young children, and they were so small. I tried to talk to them like I talk to children generally, and they talked to me in a very adulterary way, which I did not expect at all. Well, this vegan place right next to my hostel is still renewing, and I don't think they will be done until I leave, which is quite sad, because it would be very easy for me to just go to the neighbor and have some breakfast. But I think I'll rather go to the vegetarian place that I was yesterday, because that was really good, and I would like to try their other vegan breakfast menu. Very good brand I bought in the vegan store, and I also bought with me a whole lot of other things. This is a place called Bio Company. It's basically an organic chain. And I bought these vegan here, and I asked if I could film inside, and they didn't allow me. But Viana, I have a very good experience with Viana, as you've seen in my earlier. And but I never tried the smoked sausages they have. I met this person here at this place where they sell like both vegetarian and vegan food. And for how long have you been vegetarian?
Since 2001.
Since 2001, okay.
2017.
Cool. Where are you from?
Israel.
You're from Israel. And what did you tell me about your friends that they made fun of you?
They used to laugh about me, you know, like they used to be carnivores and I was like a vegetarian. You know, they were like waving, you know, chicken at me and whatever.
Yeah.
Today they are actually vegan.
They're all vegan now.
Not all of them, but like a lot of them went from carnivores to vegan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but as long as it's not fashion, because of like fashion, I'm cool with it.
Yeah.
If it's coming from a real place and not just you know, like fashion or like whatever.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting story.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. I'm Sharon.
Sean, yeah, I'm Vegan Dragon.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Israel is actually a leading country when it comes to veganism now. More and more people are transiting to a vegan diet. Why Israel? Well, the theory is that people who have been oppressed understand oppression, and the Germans did kill more Jews than anyone has ever done in history. And maybe this is just the other side of the coin. And in Israel, it was basically Gary Yourofsky that started all this.
I just recently read this story about this Nazi. His name was Ernst Goebel. He and his men were executing children one day, but he didn't like the way his guards were grabbing kids by their hair before they shot them in the back of the head and tossed them in a mass grave. He actually ordered his men to stop grabbing the kids by their hair, and I quote, "Kill them in a more decent way." That story sickens me as much as the stories that meat, cheese, milk, and egg eaters love to tell. Hey, Gary, I only eat free-range freedom eggs. Hey, Gary, I only eat animals who were raised and killed humanely on a cage-free organic farm. There is no such thing as humane when it comes to meat, cheese, milk, and eggs. Humane slaughter, humane rape, humane slavery, Humane holocausts do not exist.
Let me explain how this Holocaust is actually worse. I'm offended that we compare human Holocaust to the animal Holocaust, which is the biggest Holocaust in the history of humankind. If you went to the nearest cow or chicken slaughterhouse and removed the animals and replaced them with Jews, you have now recreated Auschwitz. There's no difference.
Just walking down the street and it started to storm like crazy here. Wow, it's ridiculous. Yeah, well, I'm trapped then. Oh yeah, there's a entrance to the train over there. I'll see if I enter there. This place is basically the place in Berlin where they have the most amount of weed dealers, and it's next to the hostel that I'm at the moment. The weather now is so bad, so I just decided to go back to the hostel. Don't know what else to do. But yeah, it's going back and forth. It isn't too bad now, but I better get in before it starts to blow like crazy again.
Walking down the street the last day, I was thinking through these things. Basically, Germans tend to be a proud people. If something negative is happening within Germany, they don't want that. So they want to show people that their past is not reflected upon what it is today. That's one thing. And another thing is that they have been treated as nothing after the war. Oppressed people kind of understands oppression. That is the part that I really want to put forward here. And I was thinking, this is actually quite sad that you have to be oppressed to understand it. This made me realize that we really need to fight harder for this. So now I was going home and I took with me everything that I've learned from the German activists.